Hey everyone, I am Amanda from Maryland Plans. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be setting up our April expense tracker, and I will be using an April script from the bottom of my monthly script sheet that is available in our Etsy shop. Two washies. This one is paper tape from Erin Condren, and then this is a skinnier one that I got in a pack of two from Michael's. It's a Recollections brand. And then this is an Erin Condren dual tip brush marker. And I wanted to go ahead and explain a little bit about how I use my cousin as a bullet journal in case any of you have joined me just recently and aren't familiar with how I do this. You might be confused to see that I'm going to be using April 21st and 22nd pages for this. Back in my January and February, I made my kind of long-term collections, things that are not date specific. And then in March pages, I started my January, and I've been using them like a bullet journal. I do not use one page per day. I'm able to get my to-do lists and things for several days at a time. So I have my tabs. I need to add a tab for April. But I am just kind of trucking along here. I also have my music plans down here, my June pages. So I think that it's gonna come out just about right. I will probably have some extra pages, but that really doesn't bother me. Knowing that I use the pages exactly how I want, and I'm not limited to one page per day or feel the burden, even of filling up a page per day, has really given me a lot of freedom in my planning. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this washi. This is going to be very similar to how I've been doing it the past several months. So this paper tape from Erin Condren is more like paper, and so it is not translucent like normal washi. And it tears really easily, but it's also not quite as sticky. So kind of take that for what you will, I guess. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom down here too. I'm gonna cover up this Japanese that I can't read. Let's start at the very bottom. Let's see, here we go. So expenses for the month of March have gone pretty well so far. We're not quite done with the month as I'm filming this. But I know that we are over in a couple of categories, probably one for sure, probably eating out as well. We've actually had a couple of very large unexpected expenses. Our van we had to take in to get, I don't know, something was wrong, and my husband was worried that it was going to be a transmission problem. Like, we would get on the highway and it would just like, it was terrible. In town it was fine, and so he was worried that it was the transmission, because that would have been really expensive. It was not the transmission, but it was just as expensive, he said, if not more. Almost $4,000 to get it fixed. So that was definitely an unexpected expense. And then our car needed brakes as well. Thankfully, that was not nearly as expensive, but it was an expense nonetheless. Okay, around the... So anyway, it's a good thing that we have been doing so well on our budget, because we had some large unexpected things come up. We have more or less followed the Dave Ramsey. We do not currently have any debt besides our house, and we have our emergency fund pretty well funded. So whenever things like that happen, it's not, you know, earth-shattering. Obviously it does throw us back, but it's definitely not as bad as it could be if we didn't have our emergency fund. So I'm going to put April just kind of like I have been in the past there. And then with that, I am ready to go ahead and throw our categories up. I'm going to be using this. I think it's the one that came in my my summer seasonal surprise box. They're not labeled, and I just have them all stored together, so it's very possible that this actually isn't the one, but we're going with it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and divide up. I like to keep track of 6 categories on these pages, and there are 36 squares, so each category gets 6. Should I use, I think I will use the fat marker side. These are double-sided, so one is a marker tip and the other is a thinner tip. Just gonna let that dry for a second. So I have several people who have asked specifically why I do this spread in my Hobonichi, since I use an online, we use something called YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget, and it's all online. We have apps. My husband and I can, every time we go out, we can see what each other are spending. We can set it to different categories. And it all keeps track of everything for us, but sometimes the convenience of that, I don't know how to explain it. The physical writing it down in my planner makes me more aware of it and helps keep me accountable. So I have really enjoyed having the spread in my planner to just help keep me on track. And it also forces me to make sure that I am actually doing and keeping up with YNAB, because in order to do these each week, I actually have to go through our expenses and make sure that everything is reconciled for the week. So it's kind of a double thing there. Just really extra accountability is what it comes down to. And I am all about pen and paper, fun colors and washi and all of that. So any excuse to pull out my fun stuff is always something that makes me very happy. So that's really all I have for you today. Make sure that you keep watching weekly, or it could be bi-weekly. I could do weeks 1 and 2 together, 3 and 4 together. I try and avoid that if possible, but some weeks, depending on how the rest of my editorial calendar looks, I can't get it in always. So I will at the very least do week 1 and 2 together, and then an end of the month. So be sure to check back in and see how we are doing on our expenses for the month of April. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.